Welcome to hell!
What's your favorite scary movie?
What up, everybody? It's your boy Walterdoom back for another episode of Let's Talk About Horror, the horror podcast where we talk about any and everything related to the genre. And right now, I got a special guest on the podcast today. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey guys, it's Dimi Horror here from Black Girls Love Horror 2. Definitely happy to be here. Yes, thanks Walter for inviting me. Definitely.
For sure. All right, so we are going to have another quarantine podcast for you guys. For any of you guys that checked out the last one, you guys check it out on YouTube. But yeah, this is gonna be another one of those quarantine podcasts. And yeah, for some of you guys that were probably wondering what's going on with me, I have been stuck in quarantine for like, I want to say 6 weeks now. Yeah, I'm also back at work, so back to my day job, back for like a couple of days. So yeah.
That's awesome.
It feels kind of awkward almost, but yeah, I mean, it's literally a ghost town out here right now. For some of you guys that probably don't know, I'm out here in Cali, and right now, usually it's like crowded. We get like congested traffic for like hours and hours long. Well, not that long, but yeah, just like right now, it's totally a ghost town just out here right now. But Dimi, can you tell us about what you've been doing during this whole quarantine period right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've been doing just to kind of keep my mind from going like just crazy, I've been also working gratefully. I feel like I've been in a blessed situation where I basically get paid for my days that don't go to work. So I get paid my regular amount of days, and then there are days that I still do come in for work. So I'll come in maybe once a week, usually twice a week, random days. Sometimes days that I don't usually work, and then some days that I actually normally work. And I usually work from Tuesday to Saturday, like when quarantine's not going, ham on us.
Yeah.
In regular life.
I know, when is that happening again?
Yeah, seriously. I don't even know if we're gonna get a taste of regular life anytime soon. Jeez, but we'll see. But yeah, Tuesday through Saturday is what I usually work, and but right now it's just like whenever they need me. So sometimes I might come in on a Tuesday, or I might come in on a Monday if they need me. I usually have Mondays and Sundays off, but it just really depends, like when they need me to come in, or but yeah, usually twice a week or once a week. But it's nice though, because it's like it's some kind of like break in staying home and just being amongst your thoughts, or just like by yourself constantly, and like
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I'm cool with my own company. I have my little doggy and stuff like that, so
How
but
are you
for the
filling
most
out your time these days?
yeah, it's just like, but I mean, it's
Like,
nice that, like,
what do you do during your time off? Like, do you write? Do you draw? Do you just watch movies like the rest of us?
yeah, yeah, for real. Well, when I'm at home, I definitely watch like a lot of scary like movies, or I'll watch a lot of Ghost Adventures. Like I'm obsessed with Ghost Adventures. I have to catch up on Supernatural, actually, season 15. I've watched like the first probably 5 episodes, and then I have to get back to watching like the other episodes that they release. And at my job, how it's set up, because it's also ghost town at my job right now, I'll
Mhm.
just sit down and like watch like something on Netflix. Like I watch the show Legacies, and has like a bunch of like mythical creatures and vampires and all that stuff. So it's Legacies is a spin-off of Vampire Diaries and the originals. So I know, such a girl, but
We might got some female listeners out there, so.
I know. But yeah, that's basically what I'll sit down and watch, or like I'll watch. I just watched the haunting, the American Haunting of like the Bell Witch. Basically, the movie that's based off the Bell Witch in the Tennessee, the haunting in Tennessee. So that's like really popular. A lot of people know about the Bell Witch, but I found out about it through Ghost Adventures, and then it's like a full circle. So but yeah, so that's what I usually do. I just watch like whatever I can on TV, Netflix, YouTube. A lot of my close friends, Emily and my best friend Adriana, like we'll have like virtual girl nights, and we'll watch like something scary or something like that. So yeah.
That's dope. That is dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're pretty much doing like all the same things that I'm kind of doing. I try and like stay busy as much as I can. I usually like read. Right now I'm kind of like brushing up on learning a little bit of Spanish that I kind of lost in high school on Duolingo. So that's pretty dope to use.
That's cool.
Yeah, draw sometimes. I try and write sometimes. And yeah, I mean, it's so strange, like having all of this like free time now that we didn't used to get like back in the day, back when things was normal,
Yeah, definitely.
It's so crazy because it's like right now it's like I have to have the mindset to myself, like, you know what, let me take advantage of this time as much as I can,
Yeah.
Do the things that I want to do, kind of like have fun with it. And also working on this podcast, like.
Same. Yeah, 100%. Like I told you what happened with like my external hard drive and dropping it, and I have to fix it by Wednesday. And then just as soon as I get my hard drive back online, it is back to work and getting this done, because it's like, you're right. Like there's so much time to do this. Like before it was like, oh, I have work. Oh my God, I'm so tired today. I can't put, it's not that I don't want to put the energy into it, but I just know when I'm recording, I'm going to sound fucking tired, like in beat, who was going to want to listen to that? Like nobody. So I'm like, dude, I got to do it when I feel really energized and I'm giving my best, to the audience. So right now I'm like, okay, like as soon as I get that fixed, we own, like we get invested, like 100%. And then YouTube, my YouTube channel, it's probably definitely I'm gonna give birth to my YouTube channel during this quarantine. Has to, like, there's just no reason not to, so as soon as I can, I'm just like, let's make it happen. Because like I know I know a lot of people would want to watch them, and even if it's a handful of people, it's like I love that. They're gonna be like, yo, get us another video. Like I love that. That's cool. So yeah.
Well, speaking of your channel, can you tell the audience about what your channel is about? For those that don't know.
So my channel, my upcoming YouTube channel that I want to do is basically it's cohesive with my podcast and my Instagram blog for Black Girls Love Horror. So basically it's just about like Black girl magicness and a place where like Melanin basically just prospers in horror and nerds. So basically what that means is that, if you're a Harry Potter fan like I am and you love horror,
Harry Potter. I got some feelings about Harry Potter.
Exactly. Half Slytherin, half Gryffindor. Right here. You look at her.
Oh,
man. Trust me. Oh my God, I have so much like Harry Potter stuff. It's ridiculous. But
I do some viewership talking about Harry Potter.
I know.
I got like a real strong disdain for Harry Potter. It's
really? Oh God. Fair enough. And not everybody loves Harry Potter. Trust and believe me. Like I've heard it. Like they're like, why do you like that? It's just like I'm obsessed. Like, I try to put my dad on, who's, like I said, he's like, you know, has a spotty
Yeah.
gangster background, you know. So
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I put him onto it, and he's just like, what the fuck is this? Like, he's like, what the fuck is the Slytherin? I was dying. I was like, oh my god, it's hilarious. But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
funny thing, the first time I watched Harry Potter was the first one. And I saw with our mutual friend that we have that kind of like brought us together for this podcast.
Yeah, shout out to him. Yep, good
Yeah.
people. Yes.
And the funny thing, like watching it, I'm watching this. He's already a fan of it. I'm not. So I'm sitting there watching like, what is this shit? Like, bro, what am I watching? So yeah. I mean, yeah, I might get killed by some people about this. Like, they're gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?"
It's true. No, like, I mean, you have people who are fans of things, and fans, people who are not fans of things. You know, there's people who are not, you know, fans of like a lot of other fandoms. Like, for me, I'm a Harry Potter fan. I love Harley Quinn. I love DC Comics. I love Marvel. I love WrestleMania or WWE. And there's just like so much of a mixture in me. I love horror. I love anime. I love, like, there's just a long list of stuff that I'm just a huge fan of. And that's just because, like, I love learning about stuff, and when I think like certain peculiar things like catch my eye or my attention, I gravitate towards it. Like, ooh, what's this? I want to learn more. But out of everything, my first love is horror, and my first horror movie that I ever fell in love with, I would say it's definitely Jaws first, and then Freddy Krueger with Nightmare on Elm Street. And those were like my first loves for sure. So. But yeah.
That's dope. Was there ever like a horror villain you were afraid of when you were younger?
You know what's funny is that even though I'm so in love with Freddy Krueger, like, I call him my horror husband, I was terrified of Freddy Krueger. Okay, because
how are you afraid of Freddy? Freddy wasn't even that scary looking though.
He isn't, but he's just like gross, and like I like and graphic. And the other thing is because I'm such a sleepyhead, even to this day, like, I love sleeping in. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of perfect that this, you know, quarantine is going on, because I like to sleep a lot. Freddy, you know, he's the dream warrior. He's the dream, you know, king. So, you know, he you're never gonna sleep again, you know, guy. So, like, he used to fuck with me so heavy. I just used to be like, oh my god, you're fucking scary. I'm gonna go to sleep and see you in my dreams, and I'm never gonna sleep again. Like,
you know what's funny? Funny thing is that you were afraid of Freddy. I was afraid of Chucky when I was young. And my older sister used to torture me a lot with Chucky. Actually, not only her, but a couple of other people that I know, they used to torture me with Chucky a lot. And it was so bad because, like, I don't know if you remember those dolls, the My Buddy dolls.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of low-key afraid of those dolls because they were low-key, they low-key look like Chucky. Like, the way the designs, their clothing and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no, this is a Chucky doll. Like, and, you know, the My Buddy dolls, they used to have, like, this little jingle that goes, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. My older sister, she was an asshole for this one. She would change up the lyrics and be like, my Chucky, my Chucky, my Chucky.
Oh, that's sad. Damn, she was trying to get you.
And I had been like no more than like 5 or 6 when this was happening.
Poor baby. That's horrible. Oh my god. That's crazy. Like, you know, it's funny. That reminds me of so I think my brother dressed up as Ghostface in his elementary school, and I don't know how that happened. Like, yeah, like, how do you dress up as Ghostface? Where did you get away with that from? But yeah, he dressed up as Ghostface in elementary school with bloody knife and everything. But it was just like, we got away with a lot more shit back in the day, right?
Oh yeah, nah, you couldn't do that in 2020.
Nowadays, definitely not. So he dressed up as Ghostface back then, and he still had the mask, like, you know, detached or whatever. So my little brother, my baby brother, like they're both the babies in the family, but the baby Nicholas, he had to be about 3 or 4 maybe. And I think Dane and me and Dylan, my little sister, we all used to take turns putting the ghost face mask on, scaring the fuck out of our little brother, our baby brother. And he would just be like, I remember one time he came up the stairs and he was like, "What are you guys doing?" And then my brother came out of the closet with the ghost face thing, and he was like, "Ah," like, oh my god, poor baby, it was fucked up.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
sorry, Nick, my bad, bro, my bad.
All right, well, moving on with our conversation for today, we are talking about quarantine, as you guys know, for the audience out there listening.
Yeah.
And what I want to talk to you about, Demi, is what kind of movie or movies kind of best represent what's happening right now with this current state of the pandemic that's going on?
Sure. So a lot of ones kind of come to mind. You know, off top, Quarantine itself, self-titled, which you actually put me on. That was the original was Wreck, and then
Yep.
they remade it through Quarantine. So I was like, okay, some new stuff. I learned some new stuff. I like that.
Yeah, you definitely got to check Wreck out. I mean, there's 4 movies of it, but I would have to say, honestly, the first 2 is just good enough to see. If you're like curious on what 3 and 4 holds, I mean, that's your journey, you know. But I'm telling you right now, from experience, I'm like the first 2 were just like it was definitely good.
Right. I definitely well, I'll definitely check Rec out for sure. And when you say that about like the 3 and 4, that's how I felt about VHS part 3. I was
Mhm.
like, "Bam, what is this? This is you. The mighty has
Yeah.
fallen. What is this?"
Yeah,
Like,
honestly, I mean, it was supposed to be about like videos going viral, and it was terrible. Like the way they did it, like the whole direction, the whole presentation. It wasn't like VHS the first 2. I mean, even the second one is kind of questionable. The
yeah.
third one was just it really sold me on like, wow, the third one is just terrible. Like this is the worst one.
It was like I hated that they started with like anybody can make a zombie film like with video like video cameras, what is it called, like phone video cameras
Oh,
or computer cameras.
they had a
Like,
GoPro in one of the scenes, I remember.
yeah, and I just was like, dude, that's easy, that's such an easy one. I just was like, that's not, like, I don't know, it's just like, okay, yeah, you could probably really make something pretty scary and fucked up like using like a GoPro and your video or your camera on your phone, yeah. But it's just like at the same time, like it's just, I don't know, their direction was super corny. I was just like, this is
Yeah.
so predictable. Like, I hate predictable. I don't
I
like.
think the only part I cared about was the kids that were from Cali that went to Mexico and they were fighting all those demon warriors out there.
That was lit. That was for sure lit. I mean, they were going ham on these little like demon things. We was like, oh yeah, that was cool. That was the coolest one, and that's the whole thing. And I was like,
Like it was like almost shot like how they did with the old like VHS videos.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they had like a little punk rock twist to it, which was kind of dope to it. It looked like a skater video mixed in with like a zombie video and all that.
Yeah, it did. It looked like some shit from Scarred, like MTV Scarred. You remember that show where they used to like bust their balls and stuff like that? Like, like, damn. I remember that. It's a good show. Y'all should check that out. But yeah, definitely. So quarantine for sure, I feel like is something spot on to what we're going through, because they pretty much had to quarantine the whole apartment complex, and everybody had to stay in their, rooms. But of course, people weren't staying in; they were checking out shit that they didn't need to check out. and,
Yeah.
and they got
Yeah.
got in the process. So, it was,
Yeah. Another movie that comes into mind that deals with kind of like the same kind of premise. I Am Legend. I Am Legend deal with the same thing also. Mixed in with like that viral disease that was going around, and then all of a sudden everybody's getting turned into zombies and all that.
Yeah, definitely. I actually just found, because I didn't understand. So I thought I Am Legend was a great movie. I thought it was brilliant, and I thought Will Smith, of course, always does a really great job. So he, Hancock. That was we won't mention that.
Hey, we're not gonna mention Hancock today.
Right.
We're not gonna.
Like,
But but let's call it what it is. It was like a black superhero making box office numbers. I mean, not to say he was the first, because we had Blade, we had Meteor Man with Robert Townsend.
Right.
But come on, Will Smith as a superhero, we don't get that often,
Yeah, I was like, okay, we don't know what to do with this. This is weird. We don't see him in these roles like that. Like, I think he's like a badass action hero, action actor, and he's funny and stuff like that. Bad Boys, all that. Like, but we never see him as like the superhero. We're just like, what?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Do you think it would have gotten a different reaction if it was a different actor? Because honestly speaking, Hancock was still kind of like Deadpool in a way,
It was. It definitely was. It was definitely Deadpool before Deadpool was like a thing, like for sure. I could definitely, that's a great catch. Like, definitely. I feel like, even though Hancock, like, some of it was shit, like a lot of it was shit. Like,
honestly, I thought the whole idea of like, him having to stay away from Charlize Theron, it was kind of a dumb direction that they went in. I was okay with, Will Smith boozing it up, being a drunk superhero, beating up people, sticking people in other people's asses and all that, That part was the most hilarious part to me.
It was. That was really cool. Like, yeah, I like that kind of stuff too. I love that, and I love like him like whatever thing that he did on the moon. He put like a heart on the moon or something like that, right? Or something I can't remember, but he did something on the moon and he put like a message on there, right? Am I remembering this? But yeah, so that stuff was cool, but yeah, I didn't like the whole direction either, that they went with the whole like, oh, Charlize Theron is a hero too, low key, and I'm just like, yo, y'all could have did a little something better with that. I'm just saying, like, that would have been, I don't know.
Yeah, and it was like, if they get too close to each other, they lose their powers and die or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this is kind of dumb.
yeah, they definitely could have gone a lot better in that direction, with the story and that love story and the love connection and all that. Like, they could have done more for sure. That's like Wolverine, the original Deadpool and Wolverine, like they went left, like completely left.
Yeah. Yeah, you talking about in Wolverine Origins?
Yeah.
Where they had that supposed Deadpool in there, but it wasn't Deadpool at all.
No, it was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, who is this? This is not real Deadpool. Deadpool in the comic is not like this. This is crazy. It was like, wow. Because they in the beginning, they had it good. Like, they had Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds and being funny and sarcastic and, messing with everybody. But other than that, like, it wasn't like that's where they did well with Deadpool. They got spot on. Ryan Reynolds is perfect as Deadpool because that's who Deadpool is. But then, like, after that, I was like, what happened to this movie? I don't understand. Now you wiping people's memories and stuff like this. I don't understand what's going on in my X-Men world. What is going on?
I mean, that really happened in the X-Men. Because I remember from the TV show that Wolverine did get his memory kind of wiped away. When he got the whole adamantium put in him. But it's just, it seemed kind of dumb with what they were doing with that origin movie, and it wasn't playing out right.
Nah, definitely not. Definitely not. And like Futures Past was cool. It was decent. What was the other one too? That like the Younger Storm. And like it was like the Younger Storm, it was Professor Xavier, of course, and then it was like the younger versions of them, like all of them. Like
Oh, that it crossed paths with their older versions.
yeah.
Okay, I know what movie you're talking about. I didn't see it though. I know what X-Men movie you're talking about though.
Yeah, it was like a second. It wasn't Futures Past. They did have a little bit of that, but then like they had another one that was like right after that, and I was like, it was decent. It was really decent, but I wanted to see Storm like kick ass a lot better than that. I was like, if y'all gonna give us Storm, bring Storm to the storm. You saying?
Yeah,
Like, I
like
need
the
to
picture of
see.
how she is.
Yeah, 100%. Like, man. So
All
definitely.
right. Well, coming back to the movie.
Horror topics. I know.
I know we're getting sidetracked. Another movie that's kind of like the times right now, well, during our current state, is 28 Days Later. And it was funny because, like, when this whole pandemic happened, I watched 28 Days Later, like, for the first time fully. I gotta say, I've watched 28 Days Later before. I didn't watch it fully when I watched it the first time I saw it. This time around, I saw it for the first time fully, and I was like, oh, this shit sounds just like what's going on right now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny because they actually mention that there's like this virus that all of a sudden comes out of nowhere that no one was expecting, and it just takes out most of like England and what have you, you know? And everybody's like either infected and become a zombie or they end up dying.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say about the I Am Legend movie too. Like just backtracking just for a sec on that because it came just to my head. But the I Am Legend, now I got lost on that because it was like, are these people zombies or are these people vampires? Because they can't come in the daylight, so they only come out in the nighttime. So are they like both? Like, are they like hybrid zombies and vampires? Like, I was so lost on that because somebody put me on recently, and so they're like, no, they're vampires because they can't come out in the daylight. And I was like, yeah, but they move like zombies though. Like, so
I think
like,
they were zombies, but I think what they were trying to do with this movie, they were trying to make a different variation of zombies. So like, they're only zombies that come out at night. I don't know if you ever played this game called The Last of Us.
oh, that sounds good. Yeah, I've seen the gameplay on that, definitely. That shit is
Yeah,
so
in that game, they got like different types of zombies in there. You know, they got zombies that can move fast, zombies that can only track people down by just sound. And it's just like, yeah, I think that's what I Am Legend was trying to go for in that movie.
Got you.
You know, because we're used to seeing like regular zombies, like Night of the Living Dead type zombies, you know.
Yeah, the
Come
slow
out during the day, they come out during the night.
Yeah.
And they're just relentless on what they're trying to do, you know.
That's
so
true.
I think, so I think with this film, it's just they were trying to give you like a different look of what the zombies could be. So like a zombie with like a handicap kind of way, you know.
That's true. That's true. Like I like that. That's cool because like even like zombies like in Left 4 Dead, right? You got the spitter, you got the boomer, you had the smoker or whatever. Like I don't think that's the actual name of them. I haven't played this game forever, but I remember the spitter in the second one. I remember boomer, and I remember the one that used to like tongue you, and then you used to have to fight him, and the hunter or something like that. And and the witch, I remember that. That game was so good. I love that game. But and then Resident Evil, you got like, I love Resident Evil zombies because you always have different like types of zombies. You got the really, really tall one that will jack your shit up. You got the one, you got like the one that like goes in tunnels and like has a little like scary mouth thing or whatever, like a little sucker claw vampire mouth thing, and then you have the slower zombies, the faster zombies, and then the rabid zombies. And then of course the new Resident Evil came out with the I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name, but he's Matt basically from the first one, and they like did a bunch of experiments on him, and now he has like guns for arms and stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy. But anyway, yeah, definitely they did a good job going in that direction, because I was like, oh, this some zombie shit I ain't ever seen yet. This is some stuff right here.
Exactly. But moving on, so since we're talking about the pandemic and we had enough about like, you know, about what movies are related to it, let's talk about the movie theaters right now and how they're affected. Do you think once we return to normalcy, how do you think the movie theaters are going to be affected by this? Are they going to change their rules? Do you think we're going to go back to just watching movies the same? Do you think we're going to still have movies at theaters?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I honestly just feel like I really don't feel like the movie business is going to be the same after all of this. Like I want it to. Like I have faith and optimism that it can be. I really have hope that it can probably prosper after this, but I definitely feel like it's going to switch up. Like I haven't even been to the Quentin Tarantino's Beverly theater, but I want to, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to get a chance to, because like a lot of theaters are probably going to be closing down after this because nobody's able to go to them right now. And you know, we don't know when all of this is going to be over with. So I do feel like they're going to probably have movie streaming like Disney Plus did with Onward and Frozen 2. So it's just like, I think they did with Frozen 2, guaranteed Onward. I know that they did that with that. So I think eventually, if that's how Disney is moving, usually Disney kind of sets the mode for a lot of businesses and companies and entertainment industry. Like they kind of follow what the mouse does, and I feel like eventually
The mouse rules everything.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, the mouse rules like a lot of things and owns like damn near everything, you know. So huge conglomerate business. So I do feel like, you know, eventually, if Disney is stepping into that direction, I think eventually all of them are going to step into that direction, because they don't have a choice, you know. So it's like kind of like the Blockbuster and Netflix situation, right? Blockbuster left on Netflix was just done, because it's like, how could you do that to us? Like, we've been loyal to you, and you decided just to be like, no, I'm not going to take Netflix serious. See, now look what happened. Now we're all loyal to Netflix. You see, like. But anyway, I feel sad because I have such good memories in Blockbuster, so I feel a little salty that it's no longer in existence. Yeah.
Same here. I remember Blockbuster, Hollywood Video. I don't know how many people are outside of California have a Hollywood Video, you know. I remember the Hollywood Videos, man. The movie section was always lit.
Yeah.
I love walk around the horror section.
Yeah.
Check out like everything that's there. Yeah. You know, I end up like either getting something or I don't. You know, that was all depending on my mother. You know?
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
She was the main keeper saying yes or no at that point. So,
yeah, like, can I get it?
See a movie like Killer Clowns from Outer Space? Hell no! What the? What you trying to watch, boy? Like,
100%. Like, oh my god, I remember having like cool like pizza nights on Fridays, like after school, whatever, and then on the weekends, like my grandma, like Marshall, my mom's mom, would take me, you know, to go get popcorn and candy and like rent the either Addams Family video game or even like the movie. So but I stayed playing like Yoshi's Island and Mario and all of that. Like I was in the game section a lot, but I was also in the horror movie section. But I knew that, see, I wasn't gonna get nothing for the horror section because my grandma and them are so like they're so opposed to like me watching horror and stuff like that. They're just not with that. Like eventually I kind of got like my own way of getting into it and but it's funny because my grandparents got Scream and I didn't tell them to get Scream. I don't think they even knew what that was about. They just bought it. And I was like, you see? So I was like,
I know they were probably watching Wes Craven movies and was trying to keep it on the low.
I know. I was like, oh, okay. So y'all just trying to keep the horror all to yourself. I see. Oh, okay. But yeah, because they had Alfred Hitchcock Psycho. They had the second one with Vince Vaughn, and so I was like, how y'all got Psycho and Scream into this house, but I can't watch no horror. What the hell is going on here? What is this?
Parents,
yeah.
right? Parents and grandparents.
Right? This is crazy. But I think high key though, I think my grandparents like on the low like supported like my love for horror and stuff like that on the low, like they didn't want to show it type thing, like here's the Disney movies, this is what you should be watching. But I'm gonna support you from afar with horror, so yeah.
Yeah, but moving back to like the movie theaters, yeah, I kind of agree with you, like how like the movie theaters are kind of going to suffer a bit, you know, and some might go out of business, you know, well, for smaller ones, they will.
Yeah.
Bigger ones, I don't really see them like going out of business, like, you know, theaters like Regal or like, what's that other one that's like, that took over Magic Johnson? Or is that
AMC, Regal, I know Harkins.
the Rave,
the
Arclight.
Rave. That's right. That's true. That's right. Yeah, those are the fancy ones. Those are
the bigger budgeted ones, I feel like they're going to still survive. Smaller budgeted ones, they're not going to really be around that much unless they, you know, got blessed by Trump or something. You know?
For real.
But even then, like, I feel like the whole movie theater business, they haven't been that great, you know? And I feel like the way they've been trying to get people back into theaters is now using the whole like subscription service, which is good. I mean, you could go and see whatever movie you want, but they got blackout days and what have you. But at the same time, it's like, you know, not many people are knowledgeable about it, you know? And if it doesn't come with perks like, you know, a discount on like some of the convenience items like popcorn, soda, and stuff like that, nobody's gonna fuck with it like that.
Yeah, it's true, because that shit is so expensive in itself. Like Harkins theaters, I enjoy Harkins theaters, but there's only so many of them. It's because I think it's family owned, so that might take a hit when this quarantine is done, when it decides to finish. But Harkins I enjoy because they're pretty okay with prices. As far as like candy and popcorn and stuff, they're probably the most cheapest, like inexpensive. I feel like a little bit fair with their prices when it comes to the other theaters, you know, like Edwards and AMC and things like that. And because AMC, you can spend, I mean, a good $80 by the time that you're done. Like, you know,
over at that place. And you're just going to see a movie.
100%, because they have like the City Walk one that me and my best friend usually goes to. Like they have a bar there, so that's like what, $10 a drink easily, like maybe 18, like, you know, because you're right there in Hollywood, so they could overcharge the hell out of you, right?
Oh my God, Hollywood is so terrible.
It is. They know what they're doing out there, 100%. So there's that. Then there's like the like mozzarella sticks and stuff like that. That's like $12. The popcorn's $12. You know, slushies like $8 or whatever. So it's like it's a lot, you know. So you're just like,
like even when I go, because I go to the movies by myself.
Yeah, I like going to movies by myself too. I enjoy that.
And just by myself, I end up spending like maybe like 30 to 40 bucks by myself at a movie theater.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, if I take someone else with me, it's like, damn, 80
Double that.
bucks, 100 bucks.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. Like, damn, like y'all taxing me. That's like you gotta go to the dollar store. My I used to do this. Like, we would go to the dollar store and get like whatever candy we wanted. We put it in my like little purse or whatever, my little like, you know, like backpack or something. But it looks, you know, it's not like the big backpack that's like, nah, you bringing some ghetto shit in there. Like, hello, stranger danger, get that one. That's obvious. Like, you know, like, so I would like have like my candies in my purse or whatever. And so I would have that. Then I would have like my chips or something like that. And then we would get just a popcorn and a slushie. So we would save money that way. But for the most part, though, like if you didn't do that and you just wanted to get the candy and the nachos and all of that together, man, that's
Yeah. Like, you better be ready to starve, fam, if you try to like spend that money in the little like snack shop.
For real, burn a hole through your wallet straight up. I was like, damn, like, because I've done that to myself so many times, like, because I can't stop to go get, you know, my candy and my snacks and stuff like that. So I go straight in, get the mozzarella sticks, get the, you know, because now I'm hungry, so I want to get that. And like, I know that I'm going to be a little bit more hungry, so I might get a hot dog or something with that, or, you know, maybe pizza or something, whatever. And then I'll get like my popcorn, my candy with that, my ice cream, you know, my icing, stuff like that. And that's when I'm like, when I know that I'm like, I can afford this, right? But it's like
Yeah.
after you're done with that day, it's just like, fuck, like I spent $60 on just myself. Like, this is ridiculous. Oh my God.
Yeah, what I found out though, is that most of the theater's money is coming from like the snack shop, you know, because they get only so much money from like ticket sales.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, most of that is just coming from like having the movie and just running ads, you know, before the movie is even started.
Yeah.
After that, most of their revenue is literally coming from the snack shop, which is so crazy to hear, because I feel like not many people know that. I mean, I didn't know that until like maybe like last year, that most of their money is coming from like from like the little snack area, which would kind of like somewhat justify those high ass snack prices, but at the same time, I'm just like, nah, fam. Even if it is, I still don't want it. I still don't want it.
Yeah, true. I don't want this shit. Oh, this is so expensive. Like, oh my God. Like, oh, it's true. So true. Like, it's like, ugh. Like, why do I gotta spend $8 on a slushie though? Like, damn.
Yeah, like you see like regular bottle of Gatorade and they're talking about $5 for it. You just looking at like them like, bruh, $5? The fuck?
For real, it's $2.25 at the grocery store, and sometimes $1. So
exactly. Yeah, but it's like, you know, we'll get like whatever we put into it. You know, it's like if we want the movie theater business to survive, we gotta be the ones to kind of like help the theaters survive. You know.
And save it. Yeah, 100%. Like, that's where I'm at too. It's like, and that's where, like, when I'm at the theaters, because I put myself up on like learning. I watch a lot of like weird like countdowns and like information videos, and a lot of them like Planet Dolan is where I got this information, is where, like you said, learning about the information about how the snacks is basically like concession stand is where the movies make their money and stuff like that. It's really not. They will make a low percentage off of like, you know, the showing the movie and things like that. So like when I learned that, I was like, dang, like that makes sense. So I'm like, sometimes when I spend that kind of money, it's like, but I'm doing it I'm doing it a service, because it's like I love being in the movie theater. Like I love enjoying that experience and seeing like a good movie, a horror movie or something like that, even a comedy, whatever, you know. I feel like seeing Marvel and all that and enjoying that experience, you know. I have so many good like horror movie experiences in the theaters, and I have so many good Marvel movie experiences and things like that, even DC and all that. So it's like I'm gonna miss that experience. Like, I love the fresh popcorn and stuff like that. Like, that is like key, right? So it's just
Yeah.
like, I hope that does not happen. Like, I hope that we do have more times where we could be in the theater and have those experiences, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It's up
I
in the
mean,
air right
I'm
now.
pretty sure like when all of this is over, they're going to be downsizing a lot of those places.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, definitely, definitely.
all right,
Ab-
once they bring back drive-throughs, I'm just
I
saying, I
know.
miss drive-through movies.
I am with the shits on that. Bring the drive-throughs, please. Bring it
Yeah,
true. I'm serious. Like, oh my gosh, they're fun. Like, it's like, I don't know. It's just such a it's just a nice like experience. Even if you go by yourself and they have like snacks and stuff like that, and sometimes the snacks are not that good. I'm not gonna lie,
yeah,
but
yeah. Well, see, back in the days when I used to go with my family, we brought our own shit,
yeah,
and they didn't say shit to us. They were like, all right, here's your tickets.
yeah.
You got this spot. Have fun.
For real, for real. You got like your fried chicken and stuff like that. You like got
Yeah.
my snacks and stuff there. It's on and popping, like 100%. Like I miss, yeah, those are great experiences. Like I remember going to the Paramount Drive-In Theater, and I'm also familiar with the Tiki Drive-In Theater. I went there once, but I love the Paramount Drive-In Theater. It's basically a swap meet at first in the daytime, and then at nighttime they turn it into a drive-in theater. I loved it. It's so much fun, and like I remember when I went with also my ex, different ex this time, but y'all gonna experience that a couple of times. This girl's a relationship person, okay? So you're gonna have to hear the real sometimes. I was with
Hey,
my ex.
you're telling them something better than me because I just talked about single life.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I'm so not used to like talking about like I do talk about single life when I am single, but like it's being I love being like in that romantic type stuff, but trust me, I'm good on my own too. I'm like yeah. If you're annoying me, like that's fine, I'll be fine. Me and Snow gonna chill at the house. See you later. But no, I remember my ex and I went to the Paramount Theater because that's where his mom, who's like a mom to me too, they had they did their swap meet in the daytime. So later on we're like, well, we'll hang out in there so that we could see see a movie at the drive-in. So, and they have a theater that's right next to the Paramount Drive-In, but it's trash. Like I very much rather enjoy the drive-in theater next to to that theater. It's like it's awful. It is so trash. But it's like the only thing that's really good about that theater is that you can sneak in easily to see like the other movies, but other than that it's not that good.
Oh man, that's funny. All right. Well, anything else you want to add about the movie theaters?
No, I mean, I think like it would be, like I said, really dope, like to start, if they could restart the drive-in theaters again, that would be like really dope. Cause like you said, we should just bring like In and Out and like eat that in the car and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Like,
And
on and
ticket prices
popping.
back in the days for drive-throughs weren't as crazy, like as in walk-in theaters are.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But there's something about this quarantine that I'm like, there are good things about it because it is refreshing the world and things like that and resetting things. Hopefully, if humans can stop being so like, I don't know, like I get that we need to get out there and stuff like that and get back to normal life in some instances, but it's just like, yo, Florida's opening beaches. Nobody asked for that right now. Like people are still sick. Like what are you all doing out here? And it gotta be Florida. Like damn.
Did you see the one video clip of them on the news, like at like a spring break kind of party at one of the beaches? And you
I
got
sure
this dude
did.
talking about like, oh yeah, I don't care if I catch corona. I'm out here enjoying spring break right now. And I'm just looking at this food like, damn.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, for real. like, clearly you don't give a shit about your life. Like, I was like, dude, because I just feel like people are just, they just didn't understand how deep this really was. Like, and
Oh yeah.
it was like, dude, you guys gotta sit your ass home, fam, until this is done, because it's just like, and hopefully it will be done, hopefully soon, because this is a mess. But it's just like, the other thing about that is I had seen something, and again, I'm trying not to be like this conspiracist either,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was the government has said it would be so easy. Like, the government will never forget how easy it was to stop everybody's life. Like, and I was just like, wow, okay. So, and I was just because like when basically like it was like they took everything like away from you guys. It was easy, like taking like
Oh
everything.
yeah.
And I was
It's
like,
definitely real
I was
easy for them to just say like, we're stopping everything, we're doing this, we're doing that now. All y'all motherfuckers gotta stay at home right now.
yeah, I was like, damn, I was shook it when I read that. I was like, you right. That's not wrong. Like, I was like, damn, like that though. But I do feel like, again, like if we, I think that this quarantine and the stuff that's going on right now with this pandemic, I do feel like it's not just resetting the world, it is resetting us too. And even like, I think that we're even going to get to times where if this keeps going like this, we might even have to go to times where we're like, we have to learn how to garden. We have to learn how to like,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that,
We might have to learn
cultivate.
how to cultivate our own shit again.
100%. I'm just like, yo, like this is some crazy stuff, but it's like it may be better though to do that. But I'm like, yo, as long as I know this will sound a little ignorant, a little bit first worldish, but look, as long as I got my Wi-Fi and my streaming services, we can cultivate all damn day if that's the case. But at the end of the day, I need my horror and I need my YouTube and all that. Okay, we need to still be
Yeah.
here.
It's funny because I was reading this book called The Sellout. It's like I forgot who the writer was, but he's a Black author, and the character was based in Los Angeles. So basically, in the book, the main character was kind of like bringing back slavery in a way, which was it sounds crazy, but it's actually really interesting. I might have to let you borrow that book one time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it's kind of almost reminiscent of Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, because the main character in Sellout, they
Uh-huh.
don't really use his name in the book. They just refer to him as just like, they like, hey nigga, or it's like something like that, like, but the point being was like in this book,
Mm-hmm.
it talked about like how Los Angeles used to have like a lot more places in like the area we kind of live in, which is more inner city now, and it's like, inhabited by a lot of like, not really trees, but like, just like streets and what have you,
Buildings. Yep, it's
Yeah.
true.
But back then, like, there used to be like a lot more houses with like gardening trees, like little garden areas, even like near the apartments and what have you. And
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
in this book, the main character, he's like kind of known for like gardening and everything, and just kind of like, making like watermelon, cultivating like his own fruits and vegetables, and people would buy it from him,
Right.
and it made me kind of want to look up to see like, well, is this true about Los Angeles? Like, did we used to have like a whole agrarian area and all that? And turns out it was true. Like, it was real. It was facts. But with
True.
climate change and everything, it's like, we got more streets and fucked up trees than like actually gardening
Man,
areas.
man. Yeah, straight up. Like, it's true. Like, I believe that. Like, I know that that's real because I saw, I can't remember where it was, but I think it was like in El El Paseo or something. I don't think that's the right. The Union Station, it has like the little kind of like little Mexico kind of right there, and it's like
Yeah,
I can't think of the actual name, but I love it there. Right, they have the best, real, genuine Mexican food there that I've ever had in my life, like the bomb. Right,
yeah,
so But I remember, I think it was there that I learned that they have the tallest tree in LA, and you can like see it like before, like there was like all these buildings and everything like that. You can like see the tallest tree like from anywhere in LA. I think they like knocked it down or whatever, but I was like, dude, that's so sad. Like you can see like this gorgeous tree from like anywhere in LA, and now all you see is like just buildings. And don't get me wrong, like yeah, buildings have these like pretty lights and they try to like make it, you know, like eye catching and stuff like that. But man, there's nothing like some nature and like being around that and seeing like, you know, how it is, or how it's kind of supposed to be. Like San Francisco, in a sense, like San Francisco, you just see green, like a lot of green, depending where you're at. Like I think south of San Francisco, you see a lot of green, but then still San Francisco, like the city San Francisco, you'll see like basically LA, like the same thing. But yeah, I love just being around like nature and green and stuff like that. I love city too. I'm a city person for sure, but I
Mhm.
love to break that up with nature, definitely. So
Yeah, that's dope. All
yeah.
right. Well, anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Definitely would love to check that out for sure. Your the book that you were suggesting, definitely want to check that out. And The Alchemist is another one that I want to read up on, because everybody that I like is surrounded with like, you know, higher knowledge and stuff like that. Like, you should watch you should read The Alchemist. I'm like, all right. And I met like 5 people who have suggested that to me. I'm like, okay, like I need
I
to read
haven't
this
read
book.
it.
Yeah, I heard it's good. I heard it's like life changing and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, we'll see. So I might have to get like an audiobook on Alchemist or something. I like reading, but I like when it's like read to me. Like there's a lot of horror read-alongs that I like, or not read-alongs, but that like reads to you. And I've found my select few, and I got really lucky with B Busta. Shout, like he's cool. Lazy Masquerade, The Corpse Husband, like those are probably like my favorite ones. And Mr. Nightmare. But like there's some other people who I'm just like, yo, this is not a good voiceover. I don't like this. And the only reason why I like the only reason why I like being read to is like because my grandma, like on my dad's side, she used to play like video or like videotapes, like the not the videotapes, but the actual tapes itself, like the cassette tapes. And like she would like play it in the little, you know, speaker thing, like in the 90s, like the old school brown ones that you put the cassette
Yeah.
and it
Yeah,
plays.
yeah. We had that
Yeah.
too.
Oh my god, good old memories. Like she used to play that in there, and I just would like fall asleep to it and listening. Like it would be raining or something like that. I would just listen to it. So I grew up with that. So like that's how I like to be told stories and stuff like that. But I'll read, but I prefer that way. But definitely.
Okay. Well, before I let you go, are you planning on watching any horror movies today?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely want to see Lighthouse. That's the one that you totally sold me on that. Like I was just listening, you telling me, and I was just like, dang, this looks okay. I'm gonna have to check that out, especially because I like sirens and mermaids and like cryptid creatures and stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'll definitely watch that. You put me onto that. Wreck, definitely, but I'm gonna have to like slowly put my like feet in the water with Wreck because it's a bit much. But yeah, I think yeah, I'll definitely check that one. And you said Terrifier, right?
Yeah,
Terrifier.
Terrifier. Terrifier. Oh man, my audience already know how I feel about Terrifier.
I want to see it. I want to watch it because you got me sold on that for sure. Like you hyped it, so I was like, let me check this out. But yeah, I'm with
That's
that.
cool. Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch a couple of movies today. I don't know what I'm gonna watch. I got a couple of movies that I added to my queue for Tubi, so I might check that out. I know I got a lot of stuff that is on Shudder and Amazon that I haven't even watched yet. Yeah, I just don't even know what I'm gonna watch just yet. But before I let you go, also another thing, do you have any movie suggestions for the audience to watch?
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna be like talking a little bit redundantly when I say this, but what was I gonna say? Because I think my people know, like, I'm a huge Silent Hill fan, right? I love
Mhm.
Silent Hill. Like, I just think I love Pyramid Head. I love the games like Robbie the Rabbit and stuff like that. And so I love Silent Hill. Like, I can't say that enough times. I even love the music. Like, so so I would say Silent Hill, the first and second one. I think I told you this too. I was like, wait, why do I feel like I'm repeating myself? But it's because I told you.
I think you did. But this isn't for me, it's for the audience.
Yeah, sure. So Silent Hill, the second one, the first and second one. I didn't think that I was gonna like the second one at all, but I really liked it. I actually liked it a little bit more than the first one.
Okay.
Jaws, that's an easy one. Sorry for people who are not shark fans. I am obsessed with shark. I always recommend Jaws, the first one.
Yeah, see, I'm not a shark fan, and I haven't talked shit about shark films yet to my audience. Because they know I like to talk shit, so.
Fair enough. That would be something interesting to collab on, because it would be like complete opposites on that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I might have to watch 47 Meters because they have it on both Netflix and Amazon. They actually got both 1 and 2 separated. Like
Oh.
one is on Netflix, which I think is the original one, well, the first one, and they
Uh-huh.
got the movie 47 Meters Uncaged on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
hate when they do shit like that because I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
it's
you
like,
guys
just
are
keep,
really trying to get us to subscribe to these services.
for real, keep them together for sure. Like, I can, because I wanted to see the second one, which I can now because you put me onto that now. That's something I might watch today. Because I really, really wanted to see the second one, and it came out like, I think it was supposed to come out around my birthday last year, if I'm not mistaken. But like, shark movies always come out on my birthday, so it makes me happy because it's like Shark Week, and I love sharks. Perfect, solid plan. But so I might check that out for sure. But yeah, I would say Jaws easily. Definitely check out 47 Meters. And the second one, and I would say, like, okay, so I'm just a shark fan, like I said. So Jaws 1, 2, 3, is it four of them? Like, all of them, right? I love all of them, but they're corny as hell, right? They are. I'm not gonna lie. They are. They're all super corny, except for the first one. Like, first and second, they're all, yeah. But the other ones, I'm like, look, you're gonna have to take that journey by yourself, but I still stand by those movies, definitely. And what is it called? What else was I gonna recommend? Okay, so we're gonna disagree with this one, but it's okay. Poltergeist, all of them are, I'm still a fan. So definitely go see those. Definitely.
That is definitely true. We are going to disagree on Poltergeist, at least for the second one. The first one, okay, I could deal with the first Poltergeist movie. The second one, I was like, what is this shit? Like, bruh, the graphics are terrible. The story was terrible. I'm just like,
It could be corny, definitely. Definitely the second one could have had better graphics for sure. But I did
yeah.
like the worm thing, like how he was like sliming on the floor or whatever. I thought that was pretty kind of before its time. But the other stuff, I was like, yikes, this did not age well.
Yeah. Well, they did have a Poltergeist remake, but I heard that one was terrible.
I heard it was
But
trash. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was trash too. Definitely.
yeah, maybe it could age better with a remake, but I don't know. You know,
Hopefully.
remakes
Somebody
are
do.
pretty hit and miss most of the time.
They can be. Ooh, they can be. That's hard. Like, and I feel bad for some of these directors because I mean they fall flat on their asses sometimes, and I don't think that was the objective originally. You know? So I feel them, but luckily for Pennywise and like It and stuff, they did a really good job with
Oh
those.
yeah. Well, the first one, the second one,
A lot of people didn't like the second one.
it's definitely mixed. Because I
Yeah,
like the second one. I just thought
yeah,
like maybe the ending of the second one was just terrible,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah. We could have gotten a better ending because I felt that way too because it was like, okay, so y'all buttered us up like, you know, oh, we're gonna put everything in this burn weird thing, this like clay pot or whatever it was, and
Hmm.
you know, we're gonna fight the clown that way or whatever. Well, you know, the he's not a clown, but we know him as a clown. Like he's like
Yeah,
way
he takes the
far
form of a
than
clown.
that. Yeah, yeah.
That's probably what we
So
could also talk about, like all the scary clowns and ranking the clowns and all that.
we could definitely, we surely could, because clowns are fucked up in the horror industry. Like,
Yeah.
damn. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I feel like they could have done a little bit more with the ending too. I will stand by you with that because I just feel like, okay, so like you guys burned all this stuff and then you guys it didn't do a thing. Like it just was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay.
All they had to do was not believe he was a clown. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Which we already knew. Like we know that he's like some weird dimensional creature thing or the planet eater or whatever. But I was just like, dude, like, come on, give us something else. And then he got all scared and like
yeah,
shooting at
yeah,
random.
yeah. I thought it was terrible. I was just like, what? But you know
Yeah.
what? I think they were doing like well, they were kind of like making fun of like how Stephen King doesn't have good endings. Because remember in the movie, like Stephen King talks to Bill and he talks
Uh-huh.
about like Bill's books and everything. He's like, yeah, I like your books, but your endings are terrible.
I remember that like throughout the like that entire film, like they kept saying that throughout the like even when they were like on set or he was on set of his film or like you know when they were shooting
Yeah.
it whatever, and they were saying that and his wife was like, yeah, your ending sucks. I was like, fuck, yeah, even your wife said that. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, so I think that was supposed to be like a whole commentary about Stephen King and his novels versus his movies and all that.
It's true though. It's so true. Definitely. I mean, Stanley, I felt like Stanley Kubrick's Shining, like that was a great ending. I like that ending. They
Oh
did a good job
yeah,
with that.
yeah.
But that's because Stanley is the man though. So you can't go wrong with that. But other than that, I was like, yeah. Oh, well,
Did you know? Did you know Stephen King hated that film though?
yeah, he did. I was put onto that recently too, and I was like, oh, they had beef like that?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
damn, they did
Stephen
not
King
like
was
each
like,
other.
what is this shit, bro?
For
Like,
real. I was like, dude, Stanley blessed you, fam. You better think that, man. And then same thing with Steven Spielberg with Jaws. Like, I was like, y'all, you need to get up out of your ego. You better thank these people. The best thing that happened to these stories, for sure.
yeah, yeah. Funny thing, speaking of Kubrick, did you go to the Kubrick Museum? Well, not the Kubrick Museum, but the Kubrick exhibit that was out here in LACMA. Like,
So I heard of that one, but I never got a chance to go to that one either. And it sucked.
oh,
I heard it was good.
I went to that one. That one was amazing.
Oh,
Like, it really was amazing.
I'm jelly. I am super jelly. Like I'm not gonna miss any more horror exhibits. I don't care what I gotta do. I'm a bust a mission or whatever because I don't care if I gotta call out and that's it. I gotta go. I gotta handle some horror business, man.
Yeah, because that one, I was like, oh, I can't miss out on this one. The Shining. It was like they had a lot of like scripts. They had a lot of like props from the movies that was there. They had
Mhm.
like the backstories about like what Kubrick was doing, including the story about like how Kubrick and Stephen King didn't get along about The Shining and all that.
I'm sorry to fix my thing. I didn't because I have a Shining thing to show y'all. That's why. So I was like, y'all put some ideas in my head. Look, y'all, I'm ready. I am ready.
Shit.
Got to get the skis on them, you know. But this damn quarantine got to end though. I can't just bring out the Shining shirt on regular. No, sir. Waste of an outfit. But yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, definitely. You got to get up on these like exhibits.
Like, I'm serious. I'm not missing another exhibit. Like the next time they got something horror going on, I'm going. I'm there. I don't care. Like, I'm about to bust the mission, like I said, if I have to, because I just feel like I love The Shining. I'm a huge fan. That's like one of my favorite films. And if you guys, haven't seen it, everybody probably has seen it by now, but if you guys haven't seen it, it's such a great film. And I, definitely slept on that because I would have loved to seen that, something like that for sure. Just because I forgot, it was just something randomly that I was like looking at, like behind the scenes, like pictures or something, like random scenes on I think it was like Star Wars, and like R2-D2 was like eating his burger and his sandwich in his R2-D2 like costume or whatever. So like I have like these pictures that I want to post eventually on my blog. And like one of the ones was like Stanley, sorry, rest in peace. But that's Stanley Kubrick was pissed off with they had beef, like they did not like each other, to the point where Stan's whatchamacallit, the set of Shining like burned down, and they were thinking that
yeah.
at one point got him. I was like,
those freak accidents.
Yeah. So, like supposedly, right? Mischievous. So I was like, oh damn, they Tiger Kingdom.
Nah, have you ever seen what's that movie with not Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise and Michelle Pfeiffer, Eyes Wide Shut?
Oh, so I haven't seen the whole thing, but it's because like it was really hard to try to get away with watching that in my house. So like, at the time,
totally understandable.
Yeah, so it was so hard, like, because I was like, I think I was in 6th grade when that movie came out, and like, so it was either 6th grade or 7th grade, like 8th grade, one of those years for sure, because I still was living at my grandparents' house, and it was so hard to get away with that. Like, and so like I would like get into certain scenes, and they had like the masks on, and of course that movie was known for all its sex scenes and orgies and all that shit. So, but I never successfully watched it all the way through because of that. So I was like,
yeah,
I don't want to get in trouble.
Literally, I would have to tell you, like, even though it's not really a horror film, that second half of the movie seems like a horror film. Like, it gets real crazy in that movie in the second half. After you get past like the whole sex cult and everything, that second half is just pure horror.
That's crazy. So I'm gonna have to watch that then. I'm gonna have to like finally watch that. Like I have to see. Is it on Tubi? Do you think it's on Tubi?
It was on Tubi. It might still be on there.
Okay. I'll have to see.
Tubi be saying like, "Oh, we're taking this movie off," but it still be on there.
I'll check it out for sure. Definitely check that one out. And Cool World is something that I probably watched today too, actually, because I love that movie. That is one of my favorite films ever. Like I love. It's not a horror movie, but it's like it's just before its time. It's like the Roger Rabbit before Roger Rabbit, I think, or was it after? No, it's after. It's after Roger Rabbit. Yeah, because I had looked that up. But still, it's like one of those, and I'm just like, oh, it's so good. But have you seen Cool World? Have you seen it with Brad Pitt? And
Nah, I haven't seen it.
So good, and it's on TV. So if you have time to watch that, that's a great movie. And let me know how you feel about it when you do, because it's so good.
All right. Most definitely. Well, I gotta say, Dimi, thanks for coming to the show today.
Of course. course, no problem. I got you. I love talking with you, and love being a guest on your show. I think your podcast is super dope, and like I said, we can always hook up with more people, like with horror, and collab with more people and their geniuses with horror, what they got to bring to the table with horror. I'm all for it. Like, let's build a super team. Like, let's do this for horror.
For real. Yeah, you just got my 5 listeners excited. So
I'm with the shit.
I always love my 5 listeners.
It's the same. I have like my little little creep squad too, and it's just like a couple. I get my 30 likes or whatever, but then I'll have like maybe 10 listens on my podcast. But it's like usually the people who really are a fan of my stuff, like Darius and Megan and like all of them. So they're like, yeah, when are you gonna bring more content? I'm like, I'm coming. I swear, I'm coming. So I do it for them, Like, I do it for me because it's for fun, but I do it for them because it's like, oh, y'all listening? I'm a fan. I got you.
That's what it's really all about, doing it for yourself, having fun with it, doing it, because that's the only person I do it for, is for myself. I'm really not doing it for anybody else.
Exactly.
I'm doing it for myself, and I'm doing it for people who love horror,
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I would love to be, a voice of horror. Like, that's something that I look up to, and it inspires me. It's just like if I could bring something to the table to inspire people to love horror and do something to brighten up horror, because for a while it was like, well, horror's dead. Like, what? Excuse me?
No, it's at its high point right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, nope, we gotta bring this to the people, be the voices out here. We got voices, let's use them, and let's use our geniuses and our creativity to bring to the table and do something with this. So I'm with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, before you sign out, can you tell the audience how to find you?
Yes, you guys can find me on Black Girls Love Horror too. If you guys need to spell it, let me see. How can I?
trying to position.
Yeah,
there you go.
But yeah, Black Girls Love Horror too. You guys can find me on Instagram. You guys can find me on Podbean. My Podbean is on my Instagram and my Facebook as well. So you guys can find all of that under Black Girls Love Horror too.
Thank you very much. And of course, you guys know your boy Walterdoom is on YouTube, on not SoundCloud, I barely use it, on Spotify. You guys can find me on Instagram, it's Walterdoom. Find me on Twitter, Walterdoom1, because some asshole already took Walterdoom.
I hate when that happens. I hate that.
I know I have to go as one now. I mean, I could have been the or the official, but yeah, I just stuck to the one.
I hear you. That's why I had to add the 2 onto Black Girls Love Horror, because somebody had Black Girls Love Horror. So I was like, okay, so Black Girls Love Horror too then. We out here.
And as always, everyone, this is another episode of Let's Talk About Horror. I am signing out for the day. This is America. Don't let them catch you slipping now.
Yeah, for real. Get that black boy, or what is it? Get that money, black boy. What is it, right?
Oh yeah. Get that money, black man.
There you go. There you go. I put the whole lyric. Sorry, Childish Gambino. My bad, dog.
All right, guys. Peace.